Hi, this is Mia Hopkins.
Hi, my name is Stacie,
and you're watching Rise and Shine.
Well, good morning, everyone. Rise and shine, and welcome to another edition of Rise and Shine's Culinary Kusina. So we've got myself and Rex and Ronnie and Kami, and today, we've got Easter coming up, holidays coming up, and so I don't know about my co-hosts. I think I can speak for them, but I am not the greatest person in the kitchen, the greatest cook. I don't really entertain a lot of people because I don't have a lot of good skills for preparing stuff. How about you guys?
You're the eater, Ed. You like to
I'm the eater, yes.
I guess to some, the Food Network is their kitchen. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Or the Cooking Channel.
Oh, I love the Food Network and Cooking Channel. I say, Ed, I am a wannabe food creator. What is that? Cook. A wannabe food creator, and I get really ambitious, but everything falls apart in the execution. Like, food is just so delicate, and I don't feel like I'm delicate.
How about you, Kami?
I like to try my chances in the kitchen. But yeah, I like to cook for sure.
All right, so we have three timid people who maybe try, and then we have Kami who's wearing pants, by the way. Kami, thank you for wearing pants today. And we're good here. And so
I'd be the Easter egg sort of mascot today.
I love it.
There you go. Okay, well, because we know that holidays are coming up and because we know that people love to prepare delicious food, what we're doing today is we're bringing some special guests on for this special edition of Rise and Shine Culinary Kusina. We have a professor of biochemistry from UCLA, and we have a romance novelist. And these two ladies who we're about to bring out are also the hosts of a podcast called The Baker's Notebook. So let's bring out Dr. Stacie Nakamoto and romance novelist Mia Hopkins. Ladies, rise and shine. Welcome.
Woo! Rise and shine.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I see a lot of awesome stuff happening in the background of Dr. Stacie's, and I can't wait to see what's happening in your kitchen, Mia.
It's like the episode of Spring Baking Championship, It's
great. Yeah, but probably less crying. I always cry during
there will be more crying.
Okay, I'll let it out too. We can do it together.
Yay!
So Stacie and Mia, before we get to the good stuff, the main event here, tell us a little bit about your podcast, how it came about. Tell us a little bit about The Baker's Notebook.
So Stacie, when would you say we met? Like, how long ago?
Probably a good 15 years ago, I would think.
Right? Yep. Our husbands used to work together. And so we, I think I had dinner at your house or you had dinner at my house, and we just started talking baking. And it was like a lightning bolt, you guys. We could not stop. For 15 years, we have been talking about baking, and it all started with, we started talking about apple pie. And I said, I really would. I hadn't baked a lot by that point. And I asked Stacie, I said, I really would like to make an apple pie that is like this and like this and like this and like this. And I said, do you have a recipe? And she emailed me one that I still have in my recipe box to this day with the date. And I think it says like Hotmail on it.
Oh my gosh, Hotmail, yes.
Goals. Transcending time and technology.
Exactly. It'll survive. And so it's all folded up and like dog-eared and it's all stained, but it's this brilliant apple pie recipe. And from that point on, I think we just traded recipes, and we've always been fans of talking about baking.
And Mia, you're actually way more organized than I am. So there was a point where I misplaced my recipe to ask you, do you still have that? Because
And I did.
Nice.
I do have to say that I'm sorry, I do have to say that I had mentioned this before Mia had come in, that I'd mentioned it to Stacie that when Mia started getting into baking, she brought me, and I remember now, it was a Christmas gift. And Mia, I think I had one of your very first apple pies. And I remember you were kind of down on it. You were kind of like, yeah.
No.
And I was just like, you're a magnificent liar, because I really enjoyed eating your mistakes. So
Well, I'll keep that in mind, because we've been baking a lot for this podcast. And, you know, it was one of those things where I was feeling down because of the pandemic. Like, I was missing my friends. And we had talked a little bit about baking over the phone. And I thought, well, you know, we're going to talk about it anyway. Why not record it?
Brilliant. Brilliant.
And when Mia approached me with the idea, she said, you know, well, what if just every week we agree on baking something, and then we would call each other and talk about it. And the big draw for me on that was getting to talk to Mia once a week.
Oh man.
You know, I'm one of those people who, you know, I enjoy my friendships. I really do appreciate them, but I'm not the best at making sure that I stay in touch. Like, it's just that is one of my flaws that I have to work on, at being better at keeping in touch. And so here Mia was proposing this way that I was guaranteed to keep in touch with one of my good friends weekly during this time when, you know, we need that human contact. And so I thought it was a brilliant idea, and I'm like, I'm on board. And
I know you were right away. I was like, really? Oh no, that means I have to do something about it.
We can't just kick it. I thought we'd do this once and then kick it.
that you know,
Exactly.
we've been friends for my entire children's lives. You know, we've been friends for so long, but I hadn't talked to her in, you know, over the phone or over online or anything for a long time, because once the pandemic started, we kind of all just stayed in our houses, and I just didn't reach out as much.
Right. Yeah, we live across town, so it's hard to visit each other too. Yeah.
And this is in the LA area?
In the LA area. Exactly.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, see, coming from the Bay Area, it's like, that wasn't a big deal to me. But now that I've been down here for a while, it's like, oh, you're never going to see that person. Unless you actually consciously try.
Yes, the freeways are real, people.
yes.
And there is literally a mountain between us.
There's literally a mountain between us.
But you guys persevered.
We did.
Now tell us a little bit about
pie.
Mia. I know that when we were talking earlier in the week, you guys had a method to choosing your recipes. What goes, like, how do you choose the recipes that you use for your podcast?
Did we have a method? What did I say, Ed?
You were talking about how you choose recipes that are already in
Yes. So for Stacie and I, we discussed it, and we wanted to choose recipes that were already online. And so they would be accessible to all of our listeners, and we weren't designing anything. We weren't developing any of our own recipes. I mean, there's thousands, maybe millions of recipes already posted online. And like, we both had, you know, so many bookmarks and so many things that we had wanted to try already. So one of the requirements is that a recipe should already be online and accessible to our listeners. So we're not developing any recipes. We're searching the web and capturing them in our sacks and taking them home.
And I do have to say that for our viewers who have not listened to their podcast, I think I've listened to 3 episodes now. And for people who really enjoy learning a little bit more about cooking instead of these 2 ladies really they kind of geek out on their ingredients and their preparation method. And it's not just, well, here's some eggs and you just dump it. I mean, they're very excited about what they do, and you can definitely hear it when you listen. So we really encourage you to go to their website, thebakersnotebook.com, I believe. Is it bakersnotebook.com or thebakersnotebook.com?
It's thebakersnotebook.com, and then you can find us on Instagram at Baker's Notebook.
We'll put links
Very
down
cool.
below because Ed can't remember.
Exactly. I can't remember Culinary Kusina kitchen or anything. So there you go. Well, let's we know that we're here to learn how to make 2 awesome recipes, and I think today we flipped a coin and Stacie is going to go first. So Stacie, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're going to prepare today?
Well, I know Ronnie will appreciate this. I went with a recipe by another woman of color, Margarita Mansky.
Yes.
Woohoo!
From Republic.
Yes. So this recipe is both featured in her cookbook, her Republic cookbook. But as Mia had mentioned, one of the things that we try to do at the Baker's Notebook is make sure that recipes are publicly accessible. And, you know, obviously we don't have the rights to publish something that someone else published. But if you go to the Republic website, you can find the recipe right there for her fruit crisp. And so I thought that would be a perfect thing to do for your show, and very seasonal as well. So on her website, you'll see that it's really any fruit that you want to make this crisp with. So if you happen to have, if you're one of those lucky people who can actually grow produce, I can't. I have a black thumb. I don't have a green thumb. Then whatever is in season will work. She featured stone fruits on her site. And so I went ahead and I found some peaches. And I thought that would be perfect. So, and that's one of my favorite things is peaches. So I've already cut some, and I'm cutting this final one. You don't have to peel the peach. That's really up to you. But I went ahead and peeled this. And the quick way to peel a peach is you put it in boiling water for about 30 seconds, fish it out, and then put it into an ice cold water bath. And then at that point, you'll just be able to peel the skin right off. And that's basically, it'll just come off with you rubbing it. And that's what I've already done with this because it does take a while. And then now we just need to cut it. And the easiest way to cut peaches is if you cut around the seed, and then you should just be able to break it open and then take out the pit. And so you can see that I'm not losing a lot of the peach along the way. It's just the pit. I can put that in my compost bin. And
Compost bin, people.
Woohoo!
And then we're going to just cut this up. So I quarter it, and then each of the quarters I quarter again. And I'm going to just add it to my bowl here. So she says you want like about 3 pounds of fruit, but I've reduced this because I'm just making a small crisp for just my family. You know, we're not going to any parties or anything like that. So I've cut the recipe pretty much in half, which means that it's about 3 peaches for me.
Yeah, when Stacie mentioned about putting it in boiling water and then putting it into ice water, it just stops the cooking process. So that it's still not, the steam's still not permeating the skin at that point.
Our editor Jeremiah, you dropped some knowledge on him because he never knew that.
I'm just learning now how to cut a peach. This is great.
The peach, when you put it in that boiling water, you're just loosening the skin. And then exactly as Rex said, you put it in that cold ice water bath to go ahead and stop any sort of cooking from really occurring. It's a great way also if you want those really gorgeous green beans that you might see that are really that bright green. You put
and still keep the color. Yes.
Yeah, in a boiling pot of water, and then you take them out and put them into an ice water bath, and you'll see they remain that really brilliant green. It's a wonderful way to serve blanched green beans. Okay, so I have it here. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit of lemon juice, and that's going to go ahead and add some tartness, but also really just keep the color really nice. Keep it from oxidizing, to be the chemical word. To keep it there.
Ding!
That's college word there, oxidizing, yes.
And then what we're going to do is we are going to use some starch. And so this is, you can use either potato starch or cornstarch. And this is cornstarch because it's what I have on hand. And we're going to add that starch and sugar. And sugar's obviously for sweetness, and it's going to allow some of those juices to come out. We're macerating this fruit, letting the juices come out. And the starch is really going to be a binder there to help everything come together so that we don't just have soup, but we have that nice, when you think about a crisp or you think about a pie, you think about that sort of gelatinous. That word doesn't sound appetizing, but it
The
is.
jammy.
Jammy.
Sammy.
That's nice.
Mia. See, Mia is the
No, that was Ronnie.
Well, we can give that.
I would
to
have
you.
been like slimy.
Kind of thick.
Nickelodeon,
like,
right?
kinda-
Yeah, slime time. Yeah.
Thick with 2 C's.
Mm.
And then what you do is you put it into whatever dish you want for your crisp. I happen to have these gratin pans, and so I'm just gonna layer it in here, and you can see that it is jammy.
Yum.
Nice word.
Mm.
And you can see that. Doesn't that already look so good? Okay.
I'm excited.
And then, so a fruit crisp is really fruit and sugar with some sort of starch to help it all come together, and that beautiful streusel topping, right? That goes on top. So let's make that beautiful streusel topping. Now you can do this by hand. I like to do it in a food processor because I'm lazy. If you listen to our Baker's Notebook podcast, you'll hear
Lazy, good word for us too. Yes,
yeah,
Or just technically improficient.
there, that too.
there you go. I'm efficient. So into this is just going to go, you're going to be shocked at how few ingredients this is. It's just some flour and sugar, a little pinch of salt, and a good amount of butter.
Yeah. Oh, that.
Are we talking like how many sticks?
Is that 20?
It's about a stick, but it looks like more because it's cubed up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was kept cold this whole time. You want to keep it cold. If you're baking cookies or a cake or something like that, a lot of times you use room temperature butter. But when you're making a crisp or pie dough, you want to actually have the cold butter, because what we're going to do is we're going to mix this together, and we want the butter to still maintain like sort of pea-sized chunks in there. So we're not going to totally blend this to where it's
Yeah, you're not gonna like pulverize it or anything.
yeah. So I'm just going to pulse this. It's going to be a little loud. And so I'm hitting the pulse button and I'm watching it go. And what I want is it to come together. It's going to look like a meal, like a mealy thing, but it's not going to see. So you start seeing it. When I take it off, I'll show it a little bit better to the camera.
So I have a question, Dr. Stacie. If you are, say, a millennial who doesn't have any kitchen products, what else can you use to make this other than a food processor?
You totally can use your fingers.
Oh,
Because if you were to just go like this in there and scoop up that butter, you can get it to form what looks like this. So do you see how it looks?
they're like little rocks, like.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what you want. So you don't want a really smooth dough. You want it to come together and look like something like that. And then what you're going to do is now, all we're going to do is just place it right on top. And you might be tempted to put a huge amount because the crispy topping is often people's favorites. So you might be tempted to put
Mine.
more than you need to. But I recommend, and so does Margarita Mansky recommend, not to do too much. So just put a nice fine layer on top, because if you make it too thick, you do run the risk of that not fully cooking. And so it's all edible. I mean, it's butter and flour and stuff. So there's nothing in here that you would worry about eating raw, but it's not going to taste so good, right? So
That sounds like a problem I would do, because I love a streusel topping and I would be like, let's put all of it because I like it. And then I'd be like, what happened?
yeah. So
Yeah, there'll probably be some parts of the crust where it's not fully cooked. So
this is what it's going to look like.
cool.
And now I'm going to put it on top of a baking sheet just in case when it bubbles, if it happens to go out, I don't want a total mess in my oven. And I've already preheated my oven. And so
What temp?
Is it the 350 baking temp, or is there like a special temp for something like this?
I like to do my crisps at 400. I like to do a slightly higher temperature for that. And since my container is also a flatter container, so it's not very deep, I'm going with 400. because I feel that that heat doesn't have to penetrate so deep into the middle. Whereas if it was a deeper dish, I might go with a slightly lower temperature because it's going to have to be in there a longer amount of time to get that heat into the middle. So with this, it's about 20 to 25 minutes. So set a timer and just wait, and it's going to be nice. You'll know it's done because it's nice and bubbly, and it'll have that classic crisp look. And I think we've all know what a crisp looks like, right? It has that beautiful jammy looking fruit on the bottom, and those bubbles popping up between those nice brown crispy regions that I think we all fight over. I know I do when it comes to the crisp.
I think we're still gonna need a close up of something.
Exactly. Well, this sounds, I can't wait. And while we are waiting, we're going to go now to Mia, who's going to give us our second treat of the day. Mia, why don't you talk a little bit about what you're going to prepare for us?
Rise and shine! This is Kami. I hope you're enjoying the show. Did you know we have a mailing list? And did you know that you can contact us if you want to say hello to Ed, Rex, Ronnie, Veronica, or even me? Just send us an email at RiseAndShineFAC. That's one word spelled out, RiseAndShineFAC@gmail.com. Again, that's RiseAndShineFAC, all spelled out, @gmail.com. Join our mailing list so you can be the first to find out about the latest Rise and Shine news.
Well, today I've chosen to make a chocolate cake. It is a very, very, very easy chocolate cake. It's perfect for late night munchies, and it's good for kind of small gatherings. The size of the pan that we're using is a 8x8. So I'm guessing maybe 9 slices, or 4 if you live in my household.
Or just one big one on
Or just one big one on your birthday. Woo. Or on
And
Thursday.
I noticed there, Mia, that I noticed in your pan that you lined it. Did you line it with foil or something?
Yeah, I did. I lined it. You can line it with parchment paper or with foil. I did this lazy lining where it's kind of like a sling. It's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you take your pan spray or olive oil spray and you go ahead and spray it. What I'll do is I'll move my camera because I have this really like janky tripod, but here we go. Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good overhead shot.
I know, gosh.
That's like what you see at a cooking demo.
Yeah, I want to warn you that it's really cheap, so it'll fall out every now and then just for fun.
You hear that, Jer? I want to keep all of the falling.
Good. I mean, I'm going to keep it real. There's going to be a lot of chaos in my cooking. What I like about having this podcast with Stacie is that she has a very scientific, very precise approach to cooking. So I can always ask her like, why isn't this working? Or why isn't that working? And me, I'm like, I guess, like, let me feel it. Does it feel good? I don't know. Like, it's a very left brain, right brain kind of relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So the recipe I'm using today, it's vegan. It has no eggs or dairy, but if you like eggs and dairy, you can't really tell. And it has a very luxurious, very deep chocolate flavor. You don't need any special equipment at all. There's no difficult ingredients. You can get everything from the supermarket. And I think it's better than a box mix because you control what's going in it. There's no artificial ingredients, nothing kind of strange. The recipe is from the website Carrot and Crumb, and it's a website by Benjamina Ebwehi. And I don't know if any of your listeners are Great British Bake Off fans, because I know I am 1000% a big fan of the Great British Bake Off.
I love me some GBBO.
Woohoo! And so Benjamina was one of my favorite competitors from the show. I can't remember which season it was, but her stuff was always so beautiful. This is her cookbook. It's called The New Way to Cake. And it's just a really, it's a gorgeous cookbook. And She uses all kinds of unusual ingredients, but the cakes themselves are not complicated. So if you're a new baker, you don't have a lot of equipment, you don't have a lot of experience, like you can produce really gorgeous desserts with not very much stuff. And I would really recommend this cookbook.
Now it's all coming back to me. I remember that season. Her work was phenomenal. And
Isn't
I
it
can't
great?
wait.
So it was her and Stacie in that season, if you remember, Ronnie, and they were just like this great funny pair together. So you're good. This cake is 2 parts. Okay. So hi, I'm still here. And so part 1 is a ganache, which is just a fancy word for melted chocolate frosting. And 2 is cake. So you're going to crack up at how easy this is. So start with some dark chocolate. You can use milk chocolate if you don't really care about the cake being vegan. And then I have a scale here. Usually ganache is made with cream and butter, but this ganache is literally hot water. That's all it is. I know. So I have some hot water here.
Keeping it easy.
I know. It's pretty. The first time I read this, I was like, is that going to blend? Is it just going to be like a clumpy, gross mess?
Right.
I'm having technical difficulties today, guys. Okay. I'm going to keep it real for you, but my water is not totally hot enough because it's been sitting for a while. But when you put it on there, you can use boiling water. This is just hot water. And you mix it together and you're going to see, I don't know if you can, that it's melting, right?
Oh yeah, we totally see that.
Yeah.
Cool. Now it just looks like a mess. It looks like hot water and chocolate chip clumpy, but you just keep mixing it just like a ganache and it'll turn into a beautiful, smooth chocolate ganache. You're going to want to let it melt with your whisk or your spoon. And if it doesn't melt completely, that's totally fine. Just go ahead and put it in the microwave for 5-second bursts. Make sure that it's not too hot. Chocolate melts, like as Mary Berry says, in a child's pocket. So very warm, but not hot. Make sure you don't boil it. And once it's all smooth and looking gorgeous, which this one is not yet, just let it sit at room temperature for 30 minutes and don't put it in the fridge. And that should be the correct spreading consistency. If you put it in the fridge, it'll get too hard to spread on your cake. More on that later.
All right, sense. So,
that's literally
ridiculously easy,
right? When I made this, I was like, no, this is going to be terrible. It's so good. All right, so the second part is the cake, and the cake has no eggs in it. And I think you guys were talking about how can that be? Like, don't you need eggs for a cake? This cake is similar to something called a depression cake. I don't know if any of you have heard of this.
Isn't that when you put like Ritz crackers and like apple slices and like something like that?
It's totally related to that. I think what you're talking about is a mock apple pie. And so it's like when people didn't have any access to fresh ingredients, they kind of like made stuff up. So instead of apples, they figured out that if you soak Ritz crackers with lemon juice, you could approximate apples in an apple pie. So these recipes come from the Great Depression when eggs and butter and other fresh ingredients were kind of hard to come by. The lift for this particular cake comes from vinegar and baking soda. So if you remember your your science fairs, when people would do like the volcano and it would fizz up, that's the same kind of reaction that's going to lift your cake up without eggs. It doesn't taste like vinegar at all. Sorry, Filipinos. It doesn't taste like vinegar. But vinegar. But it does make your cake nice and fluffy and light. So first thing you want to do is, like I said, take your 8-inch pan, can be round, can be square. Give it a spray and set that aside. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And this cake, similar to the ganache, is as simple as it's ridiculous, guys. So here's your flour. And then I have a few ingredients here. Cocoa powder, put that in. Your baking soda, your baking powder, and salt. Do you like my Valentine's Day spatula?
I was gonna say I've been seeing some really cute spatulas in the game lately, and
Right?
now I need to go find some.
It's my Valentine's Day. I was looking for a more professional one, but I couldn't find it. So, all right.
No, that's better.
Sweet. Okay.
The holiday.
Just
And quick question, Mia, that's equal parts baking soda and baking powder, right?
no, no, it's not. The amounts are all on her website. The only thing is that a lot of them, she's British, and so a lot of the ingredients are measured out by weight. So it helps to have one of these.
Right.
Yeah, one of these guys helps a lot of scale.
Mm-hmm.
So those ingredients, and then literally sugar, and that's it.
Wow.
Like, yeah, that's
like,
it. It's, I think, like a box mix is easier, let's be real, but when you don't know what's in there, right? Like there's all kinds of chemicals and artificial ingredients, and like I didn't used to care, but since I had a kid, I started to care.
I care. I think especially like since I've been trying to cook a lot more for myself lately, you really want to know, and it's kind of like, and I personally think it tastes better. It may not be as easy, but I'll put in the extra effort. Plus, this is like, there's not that much extra effort, guys, to have to go to Target, go to buy a box cake mix. I think this is potentially already stuff you have in your kitchen. Or
exactly.
And
the thing, I know, old fashioned. I think that one of the things that I really like is these are ingredients that you're going to use in the kitchen if you're going to start cooking anyway. And like your baking soda, your baking powder, you're going to have for other purposes. So, no big deal. I don't mind buying a $2 box of baking soda. I'll be able to use it later on. Now that's pretty much the basic mix. Now it's time for some liquid ingredients. You have here a little bit of oil. This is vegetable oil, neutral oil, canola oil is good. I'm going to add this to the mix. We're baking, guys. That's it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's it, huh?
And then a little bit of the magic, which is the vinegar and a little bit of vanilla. So I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of vinegar. This is just white wine vinegar, white vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is good too. I don't know if you, I don't know. It probably would work. So 1 tablespoon of that, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. This is the vanilla extract from Trader Joe's, which is fantastic.
Oh, good recommend.
Nice.
And that's it for now. I try to make it sound so simple, I guess. This one is, though. This one's not bad. So what you're going to want to do is mix it, and it's going to be ugly. It's going to be clumpy. It's not going to be a nice looking cake mix. You're going to think, oh my gosh, this is not right. But it is. It is totally right. You're going to see that there's big clumps in here, and the batter should start to absorb the flour. And so you're just going to mix it until that flour disappears and blends in. And it's going to look like crumbled up brownies almost. Yeah. You can't really smell
on your technique. Your mixing technique is so satisfying to watch right now.
Oh, thanks.
It's very like thorough. And for people, I've taken on the project of teaching my partner how to cook from the ground up. And it's like, we had a bad habit of just stirring like in a weird circle just at the top. And Stacie, you probably attest to this too. It's like you have to kind of be like thorough, right? But not over mix. And that's what always scares a lot of people about baking, is that you often hear baking is a science. So you're like, I don't want to mess this up. But
there's so many,
it is really helpful.
Ah, cool. I'm glad. This is the macaron mixing technique that I learned anyway while we were making macarons for one of our episodes. And I just use it because it keeps the bowl nice and clean, and it's fast. You just spin it. Like, that's not hard at all, right? You just go like that. It should look like that, right? So it looks like crumbly brownies, I guess. Doesn't look like a cake batter though.
No.
Here's what's going to make it a cake batter. The magic ingredient in this entire cake is hot water. So again, we're going to add some hot water. This is 240 mils of hot water. And I'll take a look at my measuring cup to let you know what that is in old money.
Nice.
240.
Now I have another question. Like, you guys as bakers, is it really a thing that you should weigh when you bake as opposed to volumetrically doing it?
It's way
It doesn't matter, in my opinion, if you're like, sorry, Stacie, if you're like a amateur home don't care baker, then it's no big deal. I didn't have a scale for a long time. But Stacie,
I think it depends on what you're baking. I think that's probably the answer, because the ratios of things can be very important. And if you are measuring something by weight, then we're easier to control the ratios of them than if you're scooping them, because it's like, oh, are you packing it down when you're scooping it in your cup? Or are you, is it more airy when it's in your cup? Things like that. So that weight, to me, is more accurate. And as you mentioned, baking can be a science when you think about it. And I love that Mia chose this recipe, because this is one of the classic recipes when I teach acid and base. Mia, and you said it makes that fluffy cake, is because the vinegar is an acid, and we have in there the cocoa powder, which is alkaline or basic, the baking soda and baking powder, which are also alkaline or basic. And if you combine an acid and a base, what you get, this is the classic kids volcano. They're really combining an acid and base, and what they get is that bubbling, because you're getting CO2 bubbles to bubble out. And that is what is going to help this cake rise. So we don't need the eggs, which is often used for rising. So wonderful cake for people who have allergies, who are to avoid eggs.
Oh my gosh, this is just blowing my mind right now. This whole time, and now it looks like a batter.
it smells amazing, guys. And I didn't use any fancy cocoa powder. You can. I just used Hershey's, just supermarket stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Midnight Munchies. This is the cake.
You can put that together in any type of state.
Exactly. This is it. So this bakes at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes, and then give it a little test with a toothpick in the center. And if that toothpick comes out clean, it's ready. You're going to want to leave it out at room temperature until it's cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven now. And that's it.
Wow.
That was crazy,
Wow.
you guys. I want to make that right now.
Do it.
That is so simple.
Now, before we get to Stacie, I just want, as a person who's very OCD and anal retentive, I love that while Stacie is waiting for her thing to be finished, she's already cleaning up her kitchen. The things I cook are totally based on how many dishes I need to clean, or things like that. I'm very time efficient on the rare occasion that I do cook. So I just wanted to give a shout out there to Stacie. But Stacie, what have you got? Let's see what the finished product looks like.
Hey everyone, Rex here with Rise and Shine. Did you know there's not one, not two, but 3 different ways you could check out our weekly Rise and Shine episodes? New episodes drop every Tuesday on our YouTube channel at RiseAndShineFAC. And you can listen to the Rise and Shine podcast as you commute to work or walking your daily steps by downloading Rise and Shine wherever you get your favorite podcast. And lastly, you can always join our live audience tapings on Facebook Live, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 3 different ways you could fill up on your Rise and Shine diet every week. So please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page at RiseAndShineFAC and watch new episodes every Tuesday, or download us wherever you get your favorite podcast. And thanks again for watching and listening to Rise and Shine.
Hi, this is Walter Boholst, and I'm proud to be one of the co-founders of FilAm Creative and serve as a member of the board of directors. In case you didn't know about us, I'd like to share with you our mission statement. FilAm Creative Incorporated educates and advocates for the Filipino American entertainment community and all looking for a collaborative workspace in order to achieve greater representation and career advancement. Although we're based in Southern California, FilAm Creative's reach can be felt worldwide. If you're interested in joining us behind the scenes to produce or promote our many programs and initiatives, visit our website at filamcreative.org. That's filamcreative.org. And contact us to learn how you can join our cause. For students, we also have internships available for you to gain valuable experience. Visit us to learn more at filamcreative.org.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And that's another
drum roll.
that people need, like that like intimidates a lot of like new cooks, is like, oh, but there's so many dishes, but just do it in the downtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a closer look.
You're in the oven. It's in the oven for 25 minutes, and while that's in there, you can go ahead and clean up your counter space. And so here you go. Here's a finished product, and I hope that you can see that well, and you can see that jammy underneath that beautiful crisp. And you have many options in terms of how you serve this. You just dig in, or if you want, it would go really well with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. If you want to do
A la
that,
mode.
it's essentially any way that you would enjoy eating pie, because it's very similar to pie, except we didn't have to make a crust. So it's really, and personally, we've talked about this in our podcast. I don't eat pie crust.
That's a hot take. And I love that you said that, doctor.
Yeah.
I love that you said that, because some people love them a pie crust. I grew up with a family of just like, they only like the pie crust. And it was always so strange to me, because I'm like, but there's a whole middle part.
I actually prefer fruit crisp over pie, because it really is like a pie with that nice streusel topping. Like, you know, if you've ever had like the French apple or the Dutch apple pie where they have that beautiful streusel topping, that's me. I'm just eating that and not eating the crust on the bottom. So this means I can just eat it straight from the container. And I love vanilla ice cream. Last night we had it with vanilla ice cream on top with a little bit of salted caramel sauce that I had made.
Nice.
Let's put you on the spot. Let's put you on the spot. What kind of vanilla ice cream?
Whatever is on sale.
Yes.
Yep.
Good answer.
Love it.
We do have an ice cream maker, and we do occasionally make it, but these days we're just, instead of having to stock up on cream, we're just buying whatever ice cream is in stock and and on sale.
We should have you both come back to do an ice cream episode.
Oh my God.
That is next level. That is next level. I have never made an ice cream. Like, I can't even start to fathom how that goes.
I think that's going to be another edition of Culinary Kusina.
Quick question, Dr. Stacie. The crisp, could that be the same recipe that you could possibly use for like a coffee cake, maybe, or something similar to that?
On top, yeah, the streusel topping on top. It's very yeah, those streusel toppings. If you want it to be more darker, like sometimes you'll use brown sugar instead. This recipe calls for just white sugar, but you could definitely add brown. You could definitely mix it up and have white and brown. And also for that, you would probably also put in some cinnamon, because oftentimes those coffee cakes have a cinnamon in them as well, and so you would complement that. We actually did a very easy crumb topping on our Baker's Notebook podcast when we made those muffins, and we made muffins with this crumb topping on top. And that crumb topping is a little bit different because you actually started with melted butter, which is unusual. I emphasize how cold this one was. So it really depends. If you want it more crispy, more flaky and crispy, like a pie, like the topping of a pie, you would definitely want to start with cold butter. If you would want it to be more soft and sort of blend in with your crumb cake, then you might start with actually melted butter and mix it all together. But your overall ingredients are just going to be the same. It's going to be butter, sugar, and that could be a mixture of white and brown, as well as starch flour.
Okay, I'm just a neophyte in this whole
No,
baking
no,
thing,
it's,
so
it's wonderful. And that's one of the great things is I think that cooking really brings people together because everyone can enjoy it, independent if you know how it's made or not. And one of the favorite things that we like to do, just because we're kind of geeks in my house, is when we really like something at like a restaurant or something, we try to replicate it at home.
yeah.
It's a fun family activity to sit there and
Especially when you make it at home, you know how good it is when it's inhaled really fast. So
all that work, all those dishes.
All right, well, let's go to Mia. And Mia, what will your finished product look like?
Well, here's the cake.
oh my gosh.
That was incredible.
Oh,
What magic.
wow.
How long was that again in the oven?
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
This one was 25, might be 30. I think a lot of people tend to overbake cakes, so just watch it carefully. If you leave it in the oven too long, it gets kind of dry. I mean, like chocolate cake is chocolate cake. I'll still eat it, but it's really nice when it's not dry.
Yes.
But I mean, I embrace things that go wrong in the kitchen. So earlier I said, don't put your ganache in the fridge. Don't do that.
Oh, wow.
So I made this earlier, but the thing is, and I left it out at room temperature. I totally did. But the thing is, it's cold today. So
yes.
it's cold this morning.
The
and
environment.
So, yes, that's a really important thing to realize when you bake is like, or when you cook in general, is that don't pay too close attention to the recipe if you feel that it's not right. Always look at the food. How is the food reacting to what you're doing to it? Is it overcooking? Turn down the heat. Is it not cooking? Turn up the heat. Like the recipe is how it worked for the person who wrote the recipe. Does that make sense? It might not work for you. Okay.
Yep.
So it's important to look at what your food is doing and kind of adjust, ingredients are different. Flour is different, could have a different moisture content. Like look at what it's doing. So in this case, it's too hard for me to spread.
Oh,
I know. Because it's sat too long. So 30 minutes, even at kind of a cold room temperature, it's fine to spread. I've made this cake 4 times. It's delicious. It's beautiful. Look at the website for something beautiful. Don't look at me for something beautiful right now.
Is it like a solid right now? Is it in a kind of a solid state, Mia?
I would say it's kind of like a fudge. Ooh.
So it's really thick then. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's delicious.
But it's not spreadable. It's not spreadable.
It's kind of crumbly.
Yeah.
The new innovation.
Yeah, I would microwave this if this happens to you. 5-second bursts again, just stir it in between 5 seconds, stir it 5 seconds.
So you can save it at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. This is delicious. Yeah, this is fine.
Okay.
But I didn't want to do that in the middle of the podcast. Just run off to my microphone. Sorry, guys.
No worries. No worries. But this is the reality. This is a reality.
I'm anti-Instagram baking, so
thank you for saying that because I feel like it gives people a lot of kind of like false expectations of like
totally.
I'm gonna work really hard and I'm gonna put this on the gram and I'm gonna, it's gonna be awesome and that's really what's worth it. But what I think is worth it is what you guys do is like having something to connect people together, having a shared experience, and just embracing your mistakes and your environment. And I think that's the heart and soul of everything. Also, it's really freaking tasty.
It's so good. This cake is really tasty. If I didn't make the ganache, and like if you don't feel like making the ganache, just give it a couple of taps of powdered sugar. I have here this fancy jar of dried rose petals that I found at a cooking shop. Wow. So this wasn't very expensive at all. Yeah. So here we go. Make it rain.
Love it.
And it's kind of fragrant.
Yeah, it smells really nice. So, work with what you got. That's it.
Glad you said that too. Fantastic.
Well, we want to thank both Mia and Stacie for coming out today. Please check out their podcast, thebakersnotebook.com. You can find them on social media on Instagram. Mia, what was the address again on Instagram, the handle?
It's at Baker's Notebook, and we're on Twitter and Instagram, and you can listen to us anywhere you get podcasts.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Stacie. Thank you so much, Mia. We know the holiday is coming up. If this sounds great to you, please let us know in the comments, and please go visit their website. And this has been another edition of
Embrace it, Ed. Embrace it. We can do this.
This has been another edition of Culinary Kusina. Thank you, Rex.
Rex didn't do anything.
Hey everyone, Rex here with Rise and Shine. Did you know there's not one, not two, but 3 different ways you could check out our weekly Rise and Shine episodes? New episodes drop every Tuesday on our YouTube channel at RiseAndShineFAC. And you can listen to the Rise and Shine podcast as you commute to work or walking your daily steps by downloading Rise and Shine wherever you get your favorite podcast. And lastly, you can always join our live audience tapings on Facebook Live, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 3 different ways you could fill up on your Rise and Shine diet every week. So please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page at RiseAndShineFAC and watch new episodes every Tuesday, or download us wherever you get your favorite podcast. And thanks again for watching and listening to Rise and Shine.
Rise and Shine. Hey guys, it's Ed. Thanks for listening today. And did you guys know that Rise and Shine is part of the FilAm Creative umbrella and that we're a registered nonprofit? And as a nonprofit organization, FilAm Creative depends on generous donations from fine folks like you to help us to continue to produce great programming like Rise and Shine. Please consider making a donation to help produce shows like Rise and Shine. Our Venmo is at FilAm Creative. That's at FilAm Creative. And if you don't do Venmo, but you still want to donate a few quid to us, then drop us an email at RiseAndShineFAC@gmail.com. That's RiseAndShineFAC@gmail.com, and we'll help you out. We at Rise and Shine appreciate your generosity. Every dollar helps.
Hey, Rex here with Rise and Shine, and I want you to do something for me. Help support Rise and Shine by liking, subscribing, and following the show online. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, all under at RiseAndShineFAC. So follow the show on all social media platforms on all one word at RiseAndShineFAC. Thanks again for all the love and support, and tell all your friends about Rise and Shine.
Rise and shine! This is Kami. I hope you're enjoying the show. Did you know we have a mailing list? And did you know that you can contact us if you want to say hello to Ed, Rex, Ronnie, Veronica, or even me? Just send us an email at RiseAndShineFAC. That's one word spelled out, RiseAndShineFAC@gmail.com. Again, that's RiseAndShineFAC, all spelled out, @gmail.com. Join our mailing list so you can be the first to find out about the latest Rise and Shine news.
Rise and Shine. Hey everyone, this is Ed, and I got a question for you. Did you know that Rise and Shine is only one of the many things produced by FilAm Creative? That's right, FilAm Creative has been producing great stuff, like Rise and Shine, for over 10 years. If you want to learn more about the premier Filipino-American organization that has been the #1 advocate for the Asian American entertainment community for over a decade, then visit our website at filamcreative.org. That's filamcreative.org. Learn more about the organization that produces your favorite show, Rise and Shine.
Hi, this is Walter Boholst. I'm proud to be one of the co-founders of FilAm Creative and serve as a member of the board of directors. In case you didn't know about us, I'd like to share with you our mission statement. FilAm Creative Incorporated educates and advocates for the Filipino-American entertainment community and all looking for a collaborative workspace in order to achieve greater representation and career advancement. Although we're based in Southern California, FilAm Creative's reach can be felt worldwide. If you're interested in joining us behind the scenes to produce or promote our many programs and initiatives, visit our website at filamcreative.org. That's filamcreative.org. And contact us to learn how you can join our cause. For students, we also have internships available for you to gain valuable experience. Visit us to learn more at filamcreative.org.
Rise and shine. Hey guys, it's Ed. Thanks for listening today. And did you guys know that Rise and Shine is part of the FilAm Creative umbrella and that we're a registered nonprofit? And as a nonprofit organization, FilAm Creative depends on generous donations from fine folks like you to help us to continue to produce great programming like Rise and Shine. Please consider making a donation to help produce shows like Rise and Shine. Our Venmo is at FilAm Creative. That's at FilAm Creative. And if you don't do Venmo, but you still want to donate a few quid to us, then drop us an email at RiseAndShineFAC@gmail.com. That's RiseAndShineFAC@gmail.com, and we'll help you out. We at Rise and Shine appreciate your generosity. Every dollar helps.
Rise and shine. Hey guys, Ronnie here. I know my sister Veronica likes to mess with the crew, but we all really work hard to produce a quality program for you. Rise and Shine is produced by FilAm Creative in association with RAS Music Group and Millennius LLC. Rise and Shine is written, created, produced, and hosted by Ed Malillan and Rex Sampaga. It also features Veronica Cañeso, Kami Koyamko, and me, Ronnie Cañeso. I'm also our show's stage director, which isn't easy when you gotta keep Ed and Rex in check. And finally, our amazing technical director is Jeremiah Castro. Thanks for tuning in every week to FilAm Creative's #1 show, Rise and Shine.